Well, hi everybody. Hey, I had originally planned to video this along with my coronagraph, but unfortunately, here under the hot Texas sun, and with so we have Saharan dust, we have 100 and some odd degrees. Both cameras shut down as I was shooting, and my red dot fell off my gun. So, anyway, uh, here's the results of what I did earlier, even including after the red dot fell off the gun. So uh, this was with the sub 2000, and anyway, I'll get back to you later on the chronograph readings that we got from the 800 foot per second rounds. They all ran about 1,000 feet per second or 1,001 feet per second. So, but I'll go over that uh, a little bit later on. Everybody, hi, thanks for tuning in. I got a couple of things to talk about today regarding pistol caliber carbines. Very interesting. A couple of weeks ago, or about a week ago, we went to a gun show where they had 600 tables of guns. And I was there for, my cat is hitting the camera. Get out of here. They had 600 tables of guns. What I noticed walking around, I was looking for two things. First of all, I was looking for a Canik Meta Prime. Great firearm. And I was able to find that. That was no problem. They were like, there were a lot of them. So I did pick that up. But I was also looking for a 40 caliber Smith & Wesson. And the reason I was looking for that is because I had sold my my 40 caliber Smith & Wesson Sig Sauer P229. I'm a reloader. I've got a lot of ammunition. I've got a lot of 40 caliber ammunition around. And the person who bought the 40 caliber, obviously, it's kind of traditional amongst firearms people. I don't use someone else's reloads. Someone else doesn't use my reloads. It's kind of like when you walk into a restroom, you don't pick the urinal right next to somebody who's already there. It's kind of like that. But anyway, my reloads are good reloads. I have no problem with them. If he wanted them, but he didn't want them, so, and I can't blame him for that. So here I'm stuck with a bunch of 40 caliber Smith & Wesson reloads. So I was looking for pistol caliber carbine to replace that Sig Sauer handgun, and I couldn't find one. We looked at 600 tables guns, and there were a few 10 millimeter rifle. There were some 22s. Sure, the lever action 22 guns were there, but those are running anywhere from $700 to $1,500 a piece. I don't get it. I don't really get it. Lever action guns have just gone out of this world. I love them. I have a couple of them. Actually, I have a couple of pistol caliber lever action guns. I have 44 Magnum. I also have a 45 Long Colt lever action gun. But anyway, I wasn't able to find one. Now, what I'm trying to replace, I've got a 9 millimeter rifle. And let me show you that. It's an older Chiappa. It's a very nice firearm. I love the wood furniture on it. It does not lock back on the last round. There is no way to lock the bolt back at all, you know. And when I got this, I've been struggling for years. And to be honest, I've paid only maybe a couple $100 for this, and that was in California at Big Five. Big Five is kind of gone, but the Big Five was a great store for these. I also picked up a Moss and Nagant for a couple of $100. Back in the day. Back in the day, yeah. So that was pretty good. But anyway, I like this rifle. It shoots great. The recoil's nothing. However, the recoil is enough. So the problem that I had with this rifle was the sight. The sight, every time I pulled the trigger, it would wander all over the place. So the sight needed some work. I took that off, and I was able to find a cog scope that would fit on this little. There's a little tiny rail here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little tiny rail here. So I got a mount for it. I've got a cog scope, mounted it up there. And this thing, it throws the bolt back with such force. And there's nothing in this gun, by the way. It's empty. But it's when it cycles, since it's a direct blowback action, it hits the back of this with such force, it destroyed that ACOG scope. Uh, so I get it sighted in. I'd go out to the range, shoot a few times, and then I would be all over the map with the thing. So I went back to the peep sight. It comes with a peep sight, but the peep sight is held in place by what looks like a 1/8 inch hex screw. Not much. It's not held in by much. And that wasn't tied down very hard either. So I took that out. I drilled and tapped a new hole, put everything back together, used Loctite all over the place. And now this thing shoots pretty decently. And it's basically on target. But boy, I really went through the mill with this rifle as far as trying to get it to a point where I could shoot it accurately. And this was over a period of years. So I've kind of become something of a gunsmith, I guess. But I do like the rifle, but I don't need anything on my property. We have 22 acres here. I don't need anything that's going to go, miles or skipping off into the pasture where there's cattle, or into the neighbors' yards. So I don't need super duper high power stuff. Therein lies my tale why I wanted a 40 caliber rifle as well. So I ended up with this, which is a Caltech Sub 2000 Gen 2. It's a folding rifle, but you can't fold it with this scope on here. And the reason this scope is on here is because the peep sights are so low, you're right down on the direct blowback spring right here. So again, it's a direct blowback thing, and it shoots pretty good, but I can no longer fold it. So, and it folds up really neat. It's really kind of a neat gun to fold up, but yeah, it folds up like this. You can shoot ducks with it, I guess, with this. No, actually, because you just can't do anything with it. Anyway, uh, um, but it's fairly accurate. And I did have problems with the fixed sights that are on it already. I put 2 or 3 mags through this thing. They all ended up about in about a 3-inch circle. That wasn't too bad, but low and to the right of the bullseye. So I figured, well, I'll put this red dot sight on here and see how that works. So far, I haven't tested it, but part of what's going to happen today is, well, maybe not today. you might you might notice a change in my outfit, um, but here in the very near future, I'm going to get out there with my chronograph. I want to see how my rounds that I have reloaded that are 800 and 1,000 feet per second rounds do through the rifle. My guess is that they're going to increase velocity probably about 200 feet per second. So they should be respectfully to 1,000 and 1,200 feet per second uh, with the chronograph. We'll see how that works out. So, anyway, the other issue that I've had, I've made this video 3 times so far. One of the problems I had is my camera that I bought. I bought a 4K Wi-Fi camera, but the sound quality was awful. So I had these wireless microphones, like similar to this one. But I found no matter what I put on this camera, the sound always came out scratchy. So right now I'm using my phone along with the wireless microphones. And when we go out to the range, I'll use the camera to capture what happens with the targets. I use my phone for the audio portion of what we're doing. So anyway, let's get on with it and get out there. Now, my question to the gun industry: what's going on with pistol caliber rifles? There are none out there. I did talk to one seller out there at the gun show, and he says there's supply chain issues with pistol caliber carbines. Interesting. 40 caliber Smith and Wesson seems to be somewhat of a dying cartridge. Yeah, there are handguns out there, but people say they're pretty snappy. Yeah, I thought they were pretty snappy too, but I don't know. Not a lot of stuff out there. We did see a few handguns out there, a few revolvers. Revolvers are going through the roof too. Lever guns are going through the roof as far as cost. $700 to $1,500 for a lever action rifle seems to be a little much. So anyway, that's my opinion on it. I wouldn't pay that for those guns. They'll come back down. They got to come back down. Of course, striker fired handguns are a good value, and that seems to be there's bazillions of them out there. So it's if you want a good handgun, they are out there, and I just love the Canics. I have a Canic subcon compact. It's got a beautiful trigger. It's heavy enough so there's very little rise with it, and I can put rounds on target pretty easily. The Canic Meta Prime that I just bought, I've only had it out to the range once, but I believe there's a break-in period on that gun. I know with my Sig Sauer 40 cal Smith & Wesson, there was a break-in period with that of 700 rounds. So, but this Canic I've got, the Meta Prime, is a 9mm. It got a great trigger as well. So I've just got to get it out to the range a lot more. and get it on target. It's interesting that the subcompact, I'm able to shoot it more on target than the prime right at the moment. And I think because I probably put a lot more rounds through that subcompact, and I'm just used to it, So I believe there's a break-in period on all new guns, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, so that's where we're at. I'm headed out to the range, and I'll take my chronograph with me, and we'll see you out there.
All right, well, for the purposes of this particular video, I have 40 caliber Smith & Wessons reloaded on January 13th, 24. Evergreen, round nose, flat point, plated, 165 grain bullets using ACC number 7 for powder, 8.4 grains. Let's see. Expected velocity is 1,000 feet per second. And you'll see with these, it was quite an increase in the record as well. We have 40 caliber Smith & Wessons actually reloaded a couple of days later using polymer bullets, green polymer DG bullets, 200 grain bullet using the same powder, 6.4 grains instead of 8.4 grains. And the expected velocity on these rounds was 800 feet per second. You'll see they all run about 1,000 feet, a little over 1,000 feet per second. Anyway, so that's what we're shooting today.
Well, hi everybody. It's been an interesting day, I have to say. Yeah, my hair's all messed up. It's nice and hot out there, and it was so hot that both cameras shut off. The only thing that kept running was the chronograph. So the chronograph worked really well. I wanted to kind of go over the readings with you there. I fired about 60 rounds, and these were 800 foot by second reloads. And they all ran a little over 1,000 feet per second, except for one or two, 996, something like that. And after the first couple of shots, the scope, little red dot scope that I had, it's a proud BSA red dot scope. The first shot was fine, right on target. The second shot, the red dot went way to the bottom, and the third or fourth shot, then the whole red dot just fell right off the scope. I even Loctited this thing on. So, however, the mount that I got, they do advertise this this mount. It's a good mount. It stayed on the gun, and I was able to shoot anyway. I managed to shoot, and I got some runs downrange, and not the most accurate that I had hoped. And on top of all that, the other day I cracked a tooth, so I'm waiting to go to the dentist and have that tooth pulled. When it rains, it pours, I'll tell you. Anyway, so I've got some readings here. 1010, 1013, 1021, 1028, 1033, 1017, 1046, 1008, 995, and I would imagine that 995 was where I had a little stovepipe stovepipe in the ejection port. Okay. Anyway, so all my rounds were running a little over 1,000 feet per second, which is kind of what I expected. These were reloaded to 800 feet per second for my 6-hour P229. So I expected the longer barrel would add about 200 feet per second, and it did. So that's great. It's predictable anyway. So one thing I did notice is with the heavier rounds, the Kel-Tec worked better. I have some 200 grain bullets, and it operated more smoothly. So anyway, that's all I know. Next time I go out to the range, it's going to have to be with a well, first of all, either early in the morning or late at night, because during the day it's a little warm. Yeah, it topped temperature a little over 100 degrees, and it cooked not only my phone, which I'm recording on right now, but it cooked my camera. Camera shut off as well. The only thing that kept running was the chronograph. It's pretty cool. So it's a Pro Chrono DLX. My wife got that to me, gave that to me for a present. It's got a digital link. It's Bluetooth. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'll put the rest of the data up if I can download it. That'd be great. And I'll talk to you later. Anyway, y'all have a great day. Sorry there was not a lot of shooting in here. Yeah, this really kind of ticked me off. But everything did. You know, the broken tooth and everything. And I need to have cataract surgery as well. I mean, it's getting old. It's not for sissies. Hang in there anyway. I'll be back. Talk to you later. Bye. All right. Well, we're recording. I'm just shooting off some random rounds to see how this is sighted in, if at all. Safety. All right, got a safety going. The red dot's trashed already. Oh my gosh. Oh good, that's gone. Well, the red dot actually fell off, which is a good thing. Hi, sports fans. Dan Beauvais here. Well, I just tried out the red dot scope on my rifle, and it fell off. So, hey, I guess it's a piece of crap. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. Anyway, so what we're going to do, I have some testing to do.
Hi everybody, hopefully this is recording. I'm looking at the information that we have here for the chronograph readings. I have a total number of shots is 65. Minimum velocity is 726 feet per second. Maximum velocity of 1423. And you see 1 through About 19, 1 through 19 are about 1,400 feet per second. So the ones I had reloaded for the pistol at 1,000 feet per second came out 300 to 400 feet per second faster than I had expected. But, well, I had loaded them for a pistol, which is a shorter barrel. Firing them in a rifle, you're always going to have an increase in velocity. So that's what happened there. The rest of them were loaded at 800 feet per second, and their velocity was pretty well maintained right around 1,000 feet per second. There were a couple that ran a little lower. 726 was the minimum, and I'm sure that's where I experienced a stovepipe in the rifle. And that's where the shell did not eject because there was not a complete cycling of the direct blowback bolt. And so that's the information I have. Take a look at that. Here's all the data. I like the chronograph. It's the one thing that did not fail. Anyway, this whole video is kind of a nightmare. Anyway, it's over. I do have a new rear sight coming for that rifle. It is from, let's see, M Carbo. They do make a aftermarket rear sight for that out of aluminum, which will replace the plastic rear sight. I went for the notched sight because it looks to be a little taller, and it's a little pricey, but you know, what are you going to do? That that red dot, throw that away. Things that was disappointing in more ways than one. Anyway, that's where we're at right now. You have a nice day. You take care, and I'm hoping things are going to get better here pretty soon. Bye-bye.